All right, here we go.
All right.
So,
Well, greatest film ever made.
yeah, we just saw the greatest movie ever made. And so, what are your thoughts?
Citizen Kane. I guess we should tell people that's what we
Yeah,
saw.
Citizen Kane.
So it's very good.
Yeah, surprisingly so, I thought.
Right. Again,
Given that we're looking at it from the future.
I told my wife before I came here, well, the big thing, because I was really tired, like I hit a wall at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's like the big thing will be, do I fall asleep in the movie?
Did you fall asleep?
I did not fall asleep.
Yeah, it was engaging.
It was, like I said, movies are so different now. This is from 1941.
1940, and we talked about that a little bit over dinner, right? That it was groundbreaking in that it sets so much of what we take for granted in modern movies. Plus, of course, it's a 1940s movie, so there's the black and white aspects of things, and so you're looking at a 1940 movie. So what's that? 85 years ago.
85.
Years?
Yeah, it's the 85th anniversary.
That's why we're seeing it in the theater. 85th anniversary. So you're looking from an 85 year in the future lens. And surprisingly, holds up.
Holds up, right? Neither of us had seen it before, right?
No.
And unfortunately, it was such an iconic movie. So this is spoilers. So if you intend on seeing it for an 85-year-old movie, I had heard the whole thing. The whole movie is predicated. It starts with his death. Okay. His last words are Rosebud. Mm-hmm. And I knew the whole time
that was the thing, right?
That it was the sleigh that he had when he was a kid.
Yeah, right. It's hard not to live through popular culture and not pick up on that.
So that's what I tried to ask at work at a meeting, and I had to leave. Yeah. So I want to ask like the younger people. Like, so I'm 50,
never heard it. Yeah.
I'm 52, but I had never seen it. But you knew that.
You just knew, yeah.
And so you see the prominent times when the sleigh is there, right? So early on, so I didn't catch any of the unreliable narrator part, or maybe there was things in there. So she didn't feel like she was doing well. So I don't know, the newspaper click. Okay, I'm jumping around. Let me say this part. Because at the end, it's revealed what Rosebud is.
You're right.
It's the sleigh. He's died. He's collected millions upon millions of dollars worth of all these statues and everything, and the sleigh gets thrown in the incinerator. And they prominently show and they can't figure
his most important artifact, you could say.
Right.
Gets tossed in the furnace.
Yeah, and the whole movie starts with his death. It's the last thing he says, and the newspaper, because he was a newspaper man, wants to find out what his last word
was.
And
nobody knows, because of course he never told anybody anything.
Then the newspaper investigative journalist goes throughout his life. You learn about his whole life in flashbacks with all his people in his life that he was talking to.
Because he goes around and talks to the people who are still living that were significant parts of his life.
Oh, and they do the first part of the movie, like the first 10, 15 minutes, is a newsreel of his whole life.
Right.
So you know everything that happens. He inherited a lot of money that his mother put in trust for him, and he got all the best schooling. He was a playboy, and then he decided he wanted to run a newspaper that became very popular. And then he tried to go into politics, and he got beat. There was a scandal. That
back when scandals used to matter.
He married the niece of the president, so that and he had his own political inspiration and got kicked out of that, and died alone. He spent millions upon
a big
millions.
Howard Hughes vibe.
So the whole movie, I guess the screenplay was written based on
William Randolph Hearst. Which I understood maybe sued or something about it back in the day.
Because he doesn't portray it. He's not portrayed.
But of course, this all predated Howard Hughes. But I was just thinking, the whole dying alone thing.
Dying alone, a little secluded.
Rich, billionaire dying alone.
He builds a huge estate that he called Xanadu.
Right.
Which I guess was from
that fireplace was insane.
Listen,
he was standing in the entrance of the fireplace. You got to assume this man's at least 6 foot tall, and there was at least another couple of feet.
And
he was standing in the opening of the fireplace. At least 30 feet wide and 10 feet tall.
Oh, no, and
it was insane.
Like,
building whole tree logs in there.
Knock on wood. If I ever have the kind of money that I could
I'm building that fireplace.
I have the house I like right now, because that house, when the wife left.
I think that fireplace was as big as my house.
So that was a whole ramble, but what I wanted to say was, how much better would the movie be if you didn't know that the sleigh
I don't
was
know.
Rosebud?
Because to me, I'm sitting here thinking about that. I don't know that it took anything away from it.
It's hard. Like I said, I was engaged the whole time.
It's hard to know because I've always known it was Rosebud was the
I
sleigh.
drank a bunch of water, so I was trying to hold it. It's a 2-hour movie, and
you didn't miss anything. With what you stepped out.
I tried to leave it when I didn't think there was going to be.
It was just that guy, his friend, writing the review, and he went in, and the friend was passed out at the typewriter, and blah blah blah.
You figure it out, yeah.
But no, I think I've always known it was Rosebud. Rosebud was the sled.
But that's really
and knowing that's interesting. It's kind of like, would it have taken anything away not knowing? Because really, you still have to ask the question. Because even though you know it's the sled, you don't know why it was significant to him.
Right.
Because go ahead with your thoughts.
My takeaway was that was when he was truly happy.
Yeah, before he was wrenched away from his mother, before his mother sent him away.
And
because he even hit the guy with the sled.
And it gets mentioned a few times.
Yeah, about the guy. The guy even says he's hit me with a sled.
In the newsreel, he hit me with a sled. So you're like, oh, okay,
that's it.
I know
the
that.
The sled he hit him with was Rosebud.
And that goes into a thing. Like the mother, they didn't, maybe there's background to that. That was the father abusive? And
I wasn't quite following that whole thing about why the mother sent him away. It seemed like maybe it was because she felt like he could have a better life, or I don't know if she was emotional. It's hard to know. I want to go study more about the movie now.
I would look at we'll do some research, or maybe there's a book on it.
Many scholarly treaties have been written about this movie.
What I remember from William Rudolph Hearst is that he instigated the Spanish-American War. Remember the Maine? He basically said, "I'm going to start a war," and that's all I know.
And that's kind of what they made him out.
And that he used his newspaper to destroy hemp production in the country.
Yeah, so they kind of alluded to that, but they didn't really. That was really
ancillary.
Ancillary. It was. They only barely brushed on any of that to the degree that he was using his newspaper to be a power broker.
Find it interesting that in the clip of his life, they're like, he's a communist, he's a fascist.
Yeah,
he's
a lot of it's still relevant today. A lot of it's still relevant today.
We're. In the 40s was when the newspapers became propaganda.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the history of that.
Again, it was engaging, more so than I thought it would be, and maybe it's because I'm all grown up now. But the other thing, Orson Welles, hey, he brought it, man. He, from an acting standpoint.
And he was 25 the whole time.
He was 25.
I bought it. I bought the aging.
They aged him up well, given the makeup of the day. He's
supposed to be in his 70s when he dies, or
I'm guessing. So he, and it's makeup can't make you act old well.
Yeah.
And I thought he nailed it from a 25-year-old actor. He nailed it. Not to mention the fact he wrote the damn thing and directed it and all the things.
So here's I want to say one more thing. Because they said there was a lot of unreliable narrator,
right? Yeah,
and that's why I was So I remember that halfway through, and then I'm trying to pick out, and the only thing I can think, is because the second wife, who he insisted she become a singer, and the one was she was terrible at it, and there's a lot of evidence to that.
Yeah.
But then they showed numerous news reports.
Well, that was his papers. his papers.
Oh, he owned all. He owned
all
I
those
was only
papers.
thinking he owned the Enquirer.
Well, remember they
But
at some point they talked about he owned like 16 papers nationwide.
Yeah, you're right. That's the part. That's the part.
I
thought it was
all
just
those
the
were his
Enquirer.
papers. I think all those were his
So he
papers.
must have bought them after the scandal, because in the scandal
He only owned a couple of
he
papers.
only owned the Enquirer, and they said every other paper is going to run it. Interesting, because that's the thing today.
We don't know exactly the way time flows in here, but the news, newsreel that you mentioned at the beginning talked about how he owned 16 papers across the country
and news and radio.
Like you, at first I was thinking, well, wait a minute, these are all positive reviews or whatever in these papers. But then I'm thinking, wait a minute, he owns all these papers because they were in the. But
they kind of showed her, like they showed people applauding her. I thought, or am I not remembering that right?
Sycophants.
Well, listen, propaganda is very powerful.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so, people will, there's people will listen to like, you tell you're supposed to like something, you like it. Unfortunately.
Because, that first performance, you saw him do the side eye to some chick, some woman that was laughing at the performance. Right? Somebody in the audience was laughing, and he gave her the side eye, But yeah, and not to mention, and they show at the very end, they show all the different other actors that he brought over from the Mercury Radio company or whatever that he had. And of course, Agnes Moorehead, we all know from Bewitched back in the day, that played Endora on Bewitched.
Oh, I don't remember.
That was before your time.
Or after my time.
But
before my time.
But a lot of those actors went on to be in a lot of movies that I remember seeing growing up, because my mom used to watch all the old movies, and I'd watch them.
They were all great.
Yeah,
really. Like, most of the performances were legit.
Yeah, Joseph Cotton and a bunch of them went on to be movie stars in their own right in the 40s and 50s.
And maybe that's the quality of the film wasn't as good. Everybody, they pulled off the aging.
I think
even the young girl, right? They filmed her in the right light, so she's supposed to, when she's 22, and then when she's kind of a washed up person in her probably 40. 40 feet old.
And I had to smile.
She looks beat up, and this is someone who's been drinking and smoking for the last 10 years.
And of course, we're hopping all over the place, but I had a little bit of a grin there at the end with the Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark.
100%. 100%. Well, you see Spielberg, how he was influenced, right? Because that's what all of the directors that we know, they were all influenced by this movie.
Yeah. I had done a little research ahead of time, and Frank and I at dinner were talking about all the directors that say they were influenced by this movie, and Spielberg was one of them. And there's a scene at the end where they pan back.
It's right out of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
They show this vast spread of all the treasures and crates of treasures that he's accumulated.
Art that he's collected, it was right out of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It definitely gives you Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they store the
show
Ark
this whole
away.
warehouse, and the Ark of the Covenant is just one thing in a crate.
But in this case, instead of the Ark of the Covenant, it's Rosebud.
Yeah.
And finally, they take you into, they kind of give you the pan into Rosebud, and right about that time they grab Rosebud off
throw that garbage out
and toss it onto the incinerator. I can understand why it stays near or at the top of the greatest American movies ever made. I get it.
So we have 3 more movies for the summer that I want to see, these older movies.
Yeah.
One is Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
Which is so long that it has an intermission. The other one is Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
And then The Maltese Falcon.
Yeah.
All 3 I haven't seen, and they should be coming to theaters.
Yeah. They're
that would be, if anyone's actually still listening, and if you know movies from the 40s and 50s and 60s that we should see, again, for me, movies, maybe even the 70s. Once you get into the 80s, and I was old enough to go to the theaters, aware of most movies. But if there's movies back then, I really want to find them.
Well,
I want movies that should be experienced.
This isn't our first rodeo. I mean, this Phantom Entertainment or whatever, Phantom.
Yeah, we did RoboCop, but that's from the 80s. But that was great.
No, I'm just saying this particular company does these showings, like the 85th anniversary showing here of Citizen Kane, and they put them out in these theaters nationwide. They do it like 2 showings on a Sunday and then 1 showing on a Wednesday night, and there's usually a couple of times a month, like Gone with the Wind, as you mentioned. And so we kind of keep an eye on those, and we plug into to those when they. I came and saw Birdcage here just recently. Because it was like the 25th anniversary of Birdcage or something like that. So
I'm pretty sure I have that on DVD. So I watched it.
But I like to get when you get a chance to see it on the big screen.
There's such a difference. Like let's give our plug to get back out into the theaters. And I still want to say our idea. Those first 2 or 3 rows, I think they either should put full recliners, or just put a table with chairs and serve a full meal. So
we can co-sign.
Nobody ever sits.
We can co-sign that. I think we can co-sign that Citizen Kane belongs up there in the pantheon of great movies, up there near the top. I mean, well, Supergirl right after it, but.
Oh boy! You're gonna just keep needling.
It's like Citizen Kane, and then there's a gap. Admittedly, there's a gap, and then there's Supergirl. I'm gonna. There's a gap.
It's the magnitude of the gap.
There's a gap
that I think we would disagree on. No, but for sure, that would be the one. Is if you can, my problem when I'm at home is the phone is too much of a distraction when a movie. This one kept engaged. I would be interested to know if people, because pacing, timing, all of those things are so different now. They're changing.
But even in this movie, it wasn't that bad.
No, it was like you want to find out what the whole, even knowing that what Rosebud is. Each time you're given a different facet of his character.
But I mean, I didn't find this movie to plod. It didn't. I didn't feel like it was plodding along. I didn't find myself bored in the pacing of the movie, even considering the fact that it's 85 years old. So that's pretty amazing.
100%. Yeah, I really didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did.
I kind of
just because it's 85 years old, but it shows you the magic of storytelling and the movie. So it's not, which is something I wish Hollywood would learn, because they put everything into, in the top movies right now, or video game movies, or whatever. What is it? Toy Story and Minions. But like, just make good. I want to see, to me, the pinnacle, and I'm sure people wouldn't agree, but Infinity War and Endgame, Avengers, they had a good story. They had some missteps in it, and then it had the effects and all of those things that could really take you away. But the story is first. The characters are first, and we don't see a lot of that anymore.
Yeah, and I guess I would just underscore, because I'm sure we're going to wrap up here pretty soon, but I would just underscore, don't write off a black and white movie. Don't write off the movies from the 30s and 40s, because so many of them really were just, they set the template for what we do today.
We were looking at that. I was looking at Orson Welles' other movies, and like, I want to check out a bunch of these movies.
But and I don't know about any of the other Orson Welles movies being nearly as significant in importance as this one was. I won't say it was a one-hit wonder, but none of the others pale in comparison to this one.
I haven't. I don't think I've seen a single.
But there's so many other movies that are iconic, like that define the whole genre of rom-com or screwball comedies or whatever, that go way back to the 30s and 40s, and there's a history there that shouldn't be ignored just because it's black and white.
For sure. Yeah. There's some great quality out there.
Yeah. So anything else on this one?
No, that was great.
Yeah.
So
well worth our time,
I think. One.
All right.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for listening.
We're out.